The Air Force has unveiled its latest long-range strategic bomber, the B-21 Raider, ahead from its counterpart from China and Russia, which are the H-20 and the Pakda long-range stealth bombers. The B-21 is expected to enter service in 2026 to 27. It's still a flying wing design similar to the B-2, which was also developed by the same company, Northrop and Grumman. This is the first time the U.S. Air Force unveiled a long-range stealth bomber for almost 33 years since the B-2 Spirit debut in 1989. This is the U.S. Air Force answer to a growing threat from China, as China is expected to have at least 1,500 nuclear weapons by 2035 for their triad of nuclear strike platform, which includes intercontinental ballistic missile as well as air and underwater delivery system. China has become a true economic and military superpower to rival or surpass the United States' global dominance. The Chinese has rivaled the Americans in economic and military power in almost every aspect. The U.S. Air Force is trying to modernize its aging but still very capable fleet of long-range stealth bomber. In fact, the U.S. Air Force has the only operational and in active service long-range stealth bomber, which is the B-2. The B-21 is meant as replacement of the B-2 Spirit. Unlike in the 90s, where America was unchallenged, now China and Russia plans to have their own. So the U.S. Air Force need to cope up with challenging times. The B-2 Spirit bomber is one of the most expensive program by U.S. Defense Department. It was only later surpassed by the F-35 program as most expensive weapon developmental program by the Pentagon. The F-35 program was plagued with massive delays, cost overruns, technical issue, and political debacle. But B-2 stealth bomber is still by far the most expensive military aircraft in the U.S. Air Force at $2 billion each. So with this huge cost, there were only 21 aircraft built, while one B-2 bomber was lost when it crashed in Missouri. The B-21 Raider is believed to be much stealthier than the B-2. Both aircraft are subsonic as stealth is prioritized rather than speed. For capabilities, the B-21 Raider is expected to surpass the B-2's range of 11,000 kilometers and service ceiling of 50,000 feet, although the B-21 would be smaller in size and it would only carry 30,000 pounds of conventional or nuclear bombs, much lower than the B-2's 40,000 pounds capacity. Aside from being a long-range stealth bomber with a lower radar cross-section and low observable aircraft that can penetrate contested airspace and air defense without getting detected, the Air Force also expects the aircraft to serve as mothership to control a swarm of drones. It could also function as intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance. The B-21 would be using the same engine used by the F-35, the Pratt & Whitney F-135 engine. For bombs, the B-21 is expected to carry the B-62 nuclear yield gravity bomb, LRSO long-range standoff cruise missile, LRSM anti-ship missile, and future missiles that are still in development. The U.S. Air Force expects the B-21 to cost from $550 to $753 million each. But as we all know by now, like any Pentagon program, the actual cost would be much bigger than the original expected cost. The U.S. Air Force plans to have at least 100 of this aircraft on their fleet. But if the cost would be much higher in the future, the actual number of aircraft might get reduced, similar to what happened to the F-22 and the B-2 when they planned to have at least 80 B-2 aircraft then.